If you want to accomplish something amazing or create something brand new or become a whole next level version of yourself, you need to remember that big things start small. Learn to master the small and you'll be able to create the big, the amazing, the next level in your life. What is up, you amazing human? My name is Ben Hart. In today's video, we'll be talking about the power of the small. If you dig this video, want to see more like it in the future, hit the subscribe button below. If there's people out there you think would benefit from it, hit the like button, leave a comment, it'll help them find this video. So we're talking about the power of the small here, and so many of us, we have things we want to do in life, we have things we want to create, we have things we want to accomplish, things we want to become. There's so many next level versions of what we want our life to be, whether it's financially, whether it's in your career, in your health, in your relationships. There's so much more you can become and you can do and you can create. And that's wonderful, that's beautiful. But what often happens is we relate to these, seemingly far off things as very hard to get to. So many of us don't even set off on the path toward them because it feels so far away. It's not possible for me to have the amount of money I want. It's not possible for me to create that relationship or that business or that level of health. And so we never begin. Or if we do, we go for a little while and then we lose motivation because we're not seeing the results we want. And what I want to remind you of, or what the famous Chinese sage Lao Tzu wants to remind you of, he said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. The first step, it's one step, and then another, and then another, and then another. That's all it is. No one leaps 1,000 miles. It's all just about one step after another after another. Everything big happens from the small. Everything big happens from the small. And when we can really embrace that, really recognize that for everything in our lives and everything in the world, our ability to show up for the small and accomplish the big completely changes. We have so much more recognition of the power of the small, so much more ability to celebrate when we show up that way. So when you think about it, like everything that you see in life, every company you see, every country you see started with one step, and then another, and then another. Small actions, building these giant corporations, building these countries, building these infrastructures, building amazing pieces of art. Like everything that you can imagine wanting to create, wanting to be, wanting to do, all happens through small steps. So an example of this in my own life, I was at a company called the Shift Network for 10 years where I worked with thousands of the top transformational personal growth teachers in the world. And when I began, it was, there was almost no one there. It was the very beginning and we had no emails and, no programs to sell or anything. And it was showing up one day at a time and, sending off this email or having this idea or creating that program. And over time, over the 10 years that I was there, we reached 2 million students. We had 1 million people on the email list. We had launched, I think, over 1,000 programs with, so many of the top teachers. But all it was, it was such a great lesson for me in the power of building something really big that makes a huge impact for millions of people by showing up one day at a time with the tiny steps forward. Everything big in your life will be built from the small. And so what's really important in that, what so many of us do when we think about these big dreams, so many of us when we have a New Year's resolution, it's like, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds. And, we go to the gym for that first week and we're working out and running and trying to eat differently. And, and then we see like, oh, okay, I lost a pound or whatever the case may be for your goal. But it's a minimal gain in when you first start. And so many of us lose motivation. We drop off the path because I'm not going to get there. It's going to take me forever. And one of the keys to having success and having the big things that you want, taking these small steps, is remembering to put consistency over intensity. So rather than go out and just work out intensely for that first week and have so much intensity and then be sore for the next 2 weeks and not want to work out, just show up, one step at a time. Every little action leads in the direction of where you want to go if you are continuing to align yourself toward it. Consistency over intensity. Because we like to think of things as we're going to take this quantum leap and we're just going to get where we want to go. And then when we don't, which is mostly the case, we feel deflated and we walk away from it, or we set our sights something lower. But with consistency, with consistent small actions and small steps, everything gets created. Every trillion-dollar corporation, every country, every beautiful relationship, it all happened through small, small actions. So I want to show you this image. That's one of my favorite images. And so you see here, you see the people, two people on the two ladders, and there's one person who has the very small rungs, and they're just taking the small steps. In the beginning, it probably didn't feel like they were going anywhere, but over time, it's very easy to climb a ladder when you just break it down step after step after step, versus the other person who's trying to take these huge leaps, and they can't even reach the next one. It can become impossible to figure out, how do I get to the next one if we're not breaking things down. So my advice, my recommendation is, with every dream you have, everything you want in life, break it down into the simple, break it down into the small. You may have a place you want to go, and it could take years to get there, but you can have milestones along the way. You can take the small steps. And it's so much about having consistency, showing up for those small things, and then as you show up for those small things, celebrate yourself. Celebrate the beauty and the power of taking that one step forward. Because so often we don't celebrate until we get all the way to where we want to go, or we reach a huge milestone. And that can be really hard to maintain. It's hard to sustain ourselves if we're not feeling like we're making progress consistently. And you can make progress every single day with the power of the small. And so the skill to develop here is breaking things down into the small, understanding what small tasks, what small actions will lead you in the direction that you want to go, and then do those, show up consistently for them, and celebrate the hell out of yourself as you do. And that will create this positive feedback loop of progress, momentum that builds and builds and builds. Your entire world has been created by small steps, and the next 10 years of your life, the next 20 years of your life will be created through small steps. And so choose where you want to go, choose the direction you want to go, and choose that you are going to show up consistently for that. And then celebrate yourself as you make that progress. And then the journey can be this constant feeling of progress and momentum and building excitement as you see how far you can get day after day after day, and you see how far you've come. All right, my friend. Power of the small, may it support you in your dreams, in your desires, in your relationships, and who you are becoming. There is no limit, there's endless possibilities to what we can create in this life, what we can do, what we can become. But it all comes down to what we do day by day, what it comes down to the small steps. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step, and then the next, and then the next. All right, my friend, if you dug this video, want to see more like it in the future, hit the subscribe button below. If there's anybody out there you think would benefit from this video, hit the like button, leave a comment. It'll help them find it. My name is Ben Hart. Until next time, much love.